Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of TheBurnZA. It is the 3rd of May 2019, and we are slowly but surely getting closer and closer to the elections. Possibly the most important South African election since 1994. Yes, people, that is correct. Now, it is also, I don't really see a win anywhere, to be honest with you guys. I'm going to be very bleak and very honest and say that I see no win situation here whatsoever. The sophists in power, the political leaders of South Africa have promised I've promised the fucking moon and the stars to voters now for the last how many years, and they are making more and more ridiculous promises, and I believe this is the only reason that they are making these absolutely impossible promises is to just either maintain positions of power or gain positions of power. I actually don't think that they really do give a two shits about South African citizens. I think they are fucking dirty politicians, sophists, who just want power. They are elitists who cannot have enough. And yes, and what are these promises that I speak of? Well, I mean, talking about free quality education, free housing, land for everyone who needs it, free quality healthcare, all of these things. These are impossible promises used by sophists. And sophists are people that basically use rhetoric or compelling speech, knowing that it's bullshit, really, right? Just to gain a position of power or influence or something like that. I have no doubt that a lot of these politicians, specifically the more Marxist ones like Julius Malema and so on, would be extremely happy to be politicians in a shit fucking socialist future where they basically eat the best cuts of meat, while the rest of the population of the South African citizens stand in bread lines, where all of their rights have been stripped away, basically, and they are pretty much slaves. Because that is, at the end of the day, that is what a socialist system really is. It paints this picture that everyone owns everything equally. But actually, at the end of the day, what it really means is that the state owns everything. Now, the ANC is becoming increasingly Marxist. They have to, because they've been making all of these promises, and they have to fulfill the NDR, the National Democratic Revolution, which is a Marxist, socialist, Leninist doctrine. The NDR is basically the shortest route to socialism, and in their Marxist minds, socialism is pretty much just a stepping stone towards communism. And communism is basically everyone is poor except for a few, quote, representatives, the people that will just be like Jesus and run everything perfectly. Those people aren't prone to corruption. No, it's cool, guys. Just vote for. No, I feel. I just feel a little bit. This clown world meme is making more and more sense to me as time goes by. Our government is now thinking about censoring, speech on the internet. This is all basically, at the end of the day, they say yes, no, but it's so that children, don't have access to pornography, and it's to curb child pornography. Obviously, these things are sort of points that people can stand behind and say, yes, no, we agree, like, we don't really want there to be child pornography available or being produced and all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, they will use it to silence journalists, to silence people who speak their minds and speak the truth to power. People like me, basically. I'm not trying to make myself more important than I am. I'm an absolute minuscule non-factor in the grand scheme of things, but I can still speak my mind, and I'll do that until either I get shut down on the net, or the videos just become censored and I can no longer do anything. And I'll continue doing that. The reason. So you should go and vote, right? 8th of May, you should definitely go and vote. I will go and vote, even though I feel that at the end of the day, the outcome will still be the same. There are still, it doesn't matter who wins the election. Likely the ANC will still keep power. Even if they lose, I don't think they'll peacefully hand over power. I think it's just going to be riots, right? It's going to be riots if the ANC stays in power. It's going to be riots if the ANC loses power. It's going to be riots. Whoever wins, there's no win situation here that I can see. If you guys disagree with me, please just let me know in the comments if there is some sort of a brighter future, because I'd rather obviously a point that would just change my mind as to the fact that we are just heading at the speed of fucking sound or light into deep into the morass, into the shit. So please change my mind on that. I'd love for you to. But do go out and vote, and don't be afraid of voting for a smaller party. There are great videos out there that explain in much more sort of technical detail why voting for a small party in South Africa is not really a waste. Our constitution is set up in a way that sort of not really favors, but that it makes it viable to vote for smaller parties, because there are a certain amount of seats in parliament. I'm not sure exactly how much. It might be like 400 or something like that. But if you go and vote for a smaller party, you're basically taking away seats in parliament from a bigger party. So you have different voices speaking out. Now, obviously, I don't want to tell you who to really vote for. All I'd say is just go look at the manifestos of these parties and find one that you resonate with, that basically champions your ethics and morals and economical sort of strategy and so on, and vote for that party. Doesn't matter how small they are. Doesn't matter if they get 50 votes, nationally or whatever. Okay, guys. Hopefully we won't be making desert machines and wearing leather and sawn-off shotguns, Mad Max style, very soon. But I'm not very convinced that is not the future here in South Africa. I make a bit of a lame joke, but yeah, what can you do really? You have to just sometimes just joke about it. As for the people that are leaving, I'm sorry to hear that. I myself would also consider leaving. I just don't have the means to do it. But also all of the prime movers, the people that are actually making a difference here in South Africa, or the people that are capable of making these differences, and the people with the means are already leaving. These people are leaving. So who is going to stay behind to pick up the pieces? Someone needs to. Because for the most part, the most educated people are leaving. You can't really blame them, but it is it's a shame. It is a shame, really, but that is the reality of the situation. All right, guys, I'm sorry, it's not a very happy, fun podcast. Like I said, do please change my mind on this, and yes. Take care of yourselves, guys. Things are getting very real. Let's try and avoid a Venezuelan situation as much as possible and as soon as possible. Thanks, guys. Cheers.